How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, do me a huge favor, go down and subscribe, leave a like on the video. I'm serious. Before we get started, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about the Lexus IS250, 350, and partially in the ISF as well. If you guys are looking to buy a 2IS Lexus, well, here is your ultimate buyer's guide in order to do so. If you're wondering what the differences between the years are, differences in the trims are, and just differences overall and what you should be looking for, what you should avoid, whether you should be buying a 250, a 350, an ISF, a convertible. Yes, there's convertibles if you did not know that. Okay, so first of all, let's get started and talk about when the IS second generation was released. And the second generation IS came out in 2006 and it ran to 2013. So that is what is considered a 2IS car. In the 2IS lineup, there are three different model variants. There's an Is250, an Is350, and an ISF. Today we're going to be focusing on the Is250 and 350 because the ISF is kind of in its own territory, and most likely you're not cross-shopping between a 250, 350, and an ISF in this current point in time. And the reason I say that is because Is250s can be bought under 10K, Is350s can be bought under 20K, but ISFs cannot really be bought under 30K. They are $35,000 plus in most circumstances at this point in time. They're also V8s. Yes, it's a V8. We'll talk more about it in just a second though. So to start off, let's talk about the Is250. So the Is250 is a 2.5 liter V6 that makes 208 horsepower. It's a manual and an automatic. They're all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. So a couple of things to keep in mind of what I just said. The Is250 is a 2.5 liter making 200-ish horsepower. It's rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, and it has a manual option. The Is350 does not come in a manual. It only comes in automatic. The Is350 also only has 3 years where the all-wheel drive was an option: 2011, 2012, and 2013. The Is350 is automatic only, rear-wheel drive mainly. The Is350 is a 3.5 liter V6 that makes 306 horsepower. So 100 horsepower bump, and it's bigger by a whole liter than the Is250 is. So the Is350 is definitely the more performance oriented out of the two, but it also probably takes just a little bit more gas than the Is250 does. The 2IS came in a couple of different trim models as well. The base model, the Lux Pack, the luxury pack, it came in a sport model, it came in a premium model, and it came in a F Sport model, and it also came in something called an X package trim model. So what are the differences between all of those six? Which one do you want to get? This is kind of something a little bit to pay attention to because people mislabel the trims all the time. So you might be going to look at what you think is a sport model car, but it might in reality be a premium model car. So if you want to take a couple of notes, I'll tell you how to differentiate the models between each other so you know what to buy and what not to buy and what you're looking at, and use it in terms of negotiation if they have it wrong. So base model has no options. It has different seats. It's not going to have perforated seats. So if it doesn't have perforated seats, it's a base model. It's not going to have heated cooled seats. It's not going to have any of the options that are going to follow. The next step is the premium pack. So the premium pack has the ventilated seats, it has the perforated leather seats, so it's heated and cooled, and it has wood grain. How to tell it's a premium and not something else? It doesn't have memory seats, it has the wood grain, and it has the heated and cooled seats. But if it doesn't have memory seats, it can't be the following, and that would be the Lux Pack. The Lux Pack has heated cooled seats, it has the ventilated seats again, it's going to have memory seats, and it's going to have wood grain. It's going to have the power rear shade, it's going to have a Lexus door sill emblem that illuminates, it's also going to have the rain sensing wipers. So how to tell it's a Lux Pack? Memory seats, heated cooled seats, and it has the wood grain. So the Lux Pack also has 18-inch wheel options. The next one is the Sport Pack. So the Sport Pack does not have the illuminated window sills, it doesn't have wood, but it still does have heated and cooled seats. How to tell if it is a Sport Pack? It's going to have sport suspension, but also the sport pedals. It's going to have metal pedals instead of the rubber pedals, so it's going to have a couple small differences like that. If it has no wood and it has memory seats, it's going to be a Sport Pack car. So next, the F Sport. The F Sport came in 2011. The F Sport does not have ventilated seats. Instead of the illuminated Lexus logo when you enter the car, it has a metal plaque there, same with the Sport, but it's going to be a 2011 Plus. An easy way to tell is all the F Sport badges everywhere around the car. It's a dead giveaway that it is an F Sport car. If you're looking for fake F Sport cars, keep in mind it's not going to have illuminated Lexus logo. It has to be a 2011 Plus. It's not going to have ventilated seats, but it will have the heated seat option. It's going to have the Sport suspension and the Sport pedals as well. It also has an F Sport steering wheel, shift knob, and it has perforated suede seats. It has different seat inserts than the rest of the cars do. It's actually a pretty cool car. Plus it has different grills and a couple of different other things that really tell you it's an F Sport. If it says F Sport everywhere, it's a dead giveaway that the car is an F Sport car. So then they did something called the X Pack from 2007 to 2010. It's kind of just this weird thing that they did where they gave a car sport suspension, they gave it sport pedals, but it has the illuminated Lexus logo when you enter the door and doesn't have a metal aluminum kick plate, which is pretty interesting. So keep in mind, none of these trims are interchangeable whatsoever. All the options that I named are options that only those trims can have. None of them are interchangeable. There cannot be a luxury sport pack car. All of them are completely separated. It's a lot to take in, but once you kind of narrow it down, it starts to make a little bit of sense. So here's a couple of things to keep in mind with these cars. 2006, 2007, 2008. Those 3 years, the first 3 years all look the same. Pretty much everything is the same. 2009, 2010 have different front grills and a couple of other different cosmetic things. 2011, 12, and 13 then got another refresh and looked completely different and got a whole bunch of different things, like the mirrors got upgraded and just overall it kept bumping it up throughout the years. So there's 3 different refreshes throughout the years. So in 07, a couple of things changed. Number one, there's a traction control button. In the 2006 cars, there is no traction control button and you have to do the pedal dance. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to be sliding this car around all the time. There's no traction button in the 06. Also, HIDs became a option, I believe. I've seen in some places where they say it's a standard, in some places that say it's an optional thing. I'm pretty sure in anything above a base model, they became a standard option, but base models had the option to get HIDs. HIDs are just the upgraded headlights. So in 2006, you can have a car without HIDs, and in 2007, I believe it just became a standard option other than the base model, but the base model can also have them from my understanding. In 2008, a couple of weird things changed as well. So in 08, they changed the backs of the seats to give it a little bit extra room. They also improved the steering and they got some new wheel designs as well. In 2010, the cars got Bluetooth. So before, all of the cars had Bluetooth to pick up phone calls, but in 2010, they got Bluetooth for music. Yeah, it kind of that was kind of the time when everything was starting to change. So in 010 they updated it, and in the 010, 11, why did I say 010? In 2010, 11, 12, 13, those are the cars with Bluetooth music. There's also a ton of individual options cars can have. I'm going to read it throughout my list that I have here. I have my notes, so I can't remember all of these off the top of my head. So the first one is the HIDs. Some of the cars in 2006 had them as an option, but in 2007 they became an option to every single trim. The next one is a trunk spoiler, so some of the cars were optioned with a trunk spoiler. I don't think I've ever seen one with one, but it was an option. And then there's a navigation and backup screen, so not all of the cars have a screen. Some of them just came plain from the factory, but it wasn't really with any trim. Some of them have them, some of them don't. There was just an option that you could get or not. You don't get a rear view camera if you don't have the screen. There's the Mark 11 sound system. Some people say it's standard. Some people say that it's not standard. My car doesn't have Mark 11 sound system, so I think it's not a standard option, and I'm pretty sure it was a thing that you could select. If you want to tell if your car has Mark 11 sound system or not, which is the upgraded sound system, it's going to be underneath where the disc changer is. If it says Mark 11s, you have it. Kind of simple as that. There was a park assist feature. There's headlight washers, pre-collision warning system, which is a very rare option. I have never seen it, but apparently there's a black Lexus L on the grill if you have it. I've never seen one of these cars with it though. And that option was from 2006 to 2010. If you look in the grill, it'll also have the sensors inside of the grill. If you ever find a car with it, please send me a picture because I would love to see what it looks like. So the 2006, 7, and 8 cars also had XM radio optional. 2009 they became standard. And that's all of the individual options. Yeah, there's a lot to go through. So I hope you guys are keeping up because these cars have a lot of differences between the years, a lot of very small things to keep in mind. In the grand scale of things, keep in mind what options you'd like to have in a car, and keep in mind the differences between the years and what year you think would be better for you. So a couple of notes. The ISF has a V8. The ISF is a ultra powerful car, and most likely you're not watching this video for an ISF. But the ISF is an amazing car. The IS350 is a very, very fast car compared to the IS250. The IS350 kept up with V6 Mustangs of the day, which was pretty fun. It was a very quick, sporty, and fun car. The IS350 is just so much faster than the IS250. The IS250 is quite frankly slow. They also don't get too well of gas mileage either way, both sides. The car's gas mileage is very just It gets like 23 to 27 for the 250 and probably a little less for the 350. They're also very small. The 250 you cannot fit in the back. Like, I cannot fit behind myself comfortably at all. So I'd suggest you go check them out and get a first-hand experience in it before you decide to commit to anything. There are also convertibles available, which are very weird. I saw one the other day and I was like, it's interesting. I would love to drive one though. I don't think I would ever want to buy one though. 2010 to 2015 they made those cars. So they made them longer than the 2IS production, but I believe they looked the same. So it was a 2015, but it looked like a car that was from 3 years ago. If you're wondering if these cars have issues, for the most part they're very reliable. I'll leave a video linked here for more information about the issues. If you look up Is250, there's going to be one catastrophic issue that might push you away from these cars. But that is all I have for this video. If you guys did enjoy, leave me a like, subscribe. There's a lot to keep in mind when you're buying these cars, and that is kind of everything that I have researched and everything that I have found between the differences of years, trims, and the models. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.